everyone, and welcome to Spoilers Obviously.
Spoilers, obviously.
Bow, 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 bow.
I'm your host Joel, and with us, our one and only, the lovely Moses Moon.
Hey, that's me.
And with us, a surprise guest, my older, lovely faggot brother, Adam.
Hey, I'm here.
Wait, is it really a surprise? Wouldn't there be like in a thumbnail or something that we're here or something with our crazy faces going like or whatever?
No.
Oh yeah, on YouTube. Don't you add that on YouTube now?
Yeah, but I don't do thumbnails and all that. I just
Well, you
have
should.
pictures of our faces like for episodes that we're on.
It's too much editing, and I also need to finish working on the English podcast to add it to YouTube. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, soon enough I'll
I
be on
feel
YouTube.
sad. Okay.
You should feel sad.
Okay. All right. Well, note that I'm sad.
Well, you know what can make you happy?
What can make me happy?
Go catch the wind.
I'm out.
So, what's new with you guys? Moses, we talked last time a week ago. Adam, last time we talked with you was like a year ago. So
That's right.
what's
I'm
new
back
with you
from
guys?
a different world.
Yeah. So
Let's
go
talk about
ahead.
it.
Whoever wants to talk, go
Too
ahead.
much. Too much is new.
Too much is new, which makes it nothing is new.
Well, what makes it I am a very important person now, so I must be precise with the words I want to say.
Okay. Anyways, so I'll speak for you. Lately, Adam and Moses have doing a surfing kite lessons. So that's what's new with them.
It's
Pretty
true. We're kite surfers now. We surf with kites.
We're
Or
kite buddies.
yeah,
Hike buddies.
I heard that. But it's also not true. So low hanging fruit, my friend.
Very nice.
Well then.
Very
Anyways,
nice.
if you guys not gonna say what's new with you guys, so I guess we'll just jump into the episode.
Oh, I got nothing, man. Like I was on the last time. Freaking got back with like, just people know. People know from the last time. If you didn't hear it, go check out the last episode, which was
Ye-
about an overall general view of what we
the
think
Oscars.
about the Oscars. Fuck that
Yeah,
shit.
the all the movies and TV shows that we remembered that came out in 2023. I totally forgot to talk about The Boy and the Heron, the last Hayao Miyazaki movie.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
I saw in theaters, absolutely amazing. A masterpiece, really, and it won like best animated movie for 2023. So
I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
Okay, Miyazaki should always win. That's just the matter of it. So
Yeah.
great, good. I'm glad. I look forward to seeing it. I love Studio Ghibli. God bless them. It's awesome.
Yeah, I would love to watch the movie again. Anyway, so like I said, let's jump to our episode today. Today we are going to talk about the one and most amazing, the most amazing movie of 2024 in my point of view, Dune Part 2. Absolutely amazing. So I personally saw the movie the day it came out. I do have myself the Dune popcorn bucket for special reasons.
You
Not
mean
for
the Dune masturbation bucket?
yeah, not for the popcorn, but
Give me the bucket. Extra
and
butter.
the extra
Extra butter.
Yeah. I like I said, in my point of view, this is going to be the best movie of 2024. Visually, storyline, music, everything. I absolutely loved it. I also read all 6 books by Frank Herbert, so I'm very knowledgeable.
Nerd.
About time. So yeah, that's on my end. Well, what about you,
Yeah.
Dev?
I will be deferring to your knowledge today. I've read the first book. I'm fairly familiar with it. However, I started not with Dune Messiah, but the Children of Dune, which is where I don't know why I skipped Dune Messiah. And then I got halfway through it and I was like, I have important things in my life right now. And I'm a little bit confused because a lot of things were introduced rather quickly that I was like, I think I missed something. So, I love and
Like
deep
that meme. Did
respect.
I miss a page here?
Well,
Yeah. So,
obviously you missed something. You skipped an entire book.
yeah, well, I don't know if I knew that exactly. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but I do love the Dune universe. I think it's really unique. I find Frank Herbert a little bit waxing in his philosophy, which is quite fun to read. However, it can be a little bit strenuous for the eyes, but is delightful nonetheless.
Okay.
Smiley face.
Hey, Adam, what about you?
I did not read the books nor hear the audiobooks. I have no idea uh, what this world is about, except for my only knowledge from the first movie. And when I mean first movie, I don't mean the one with David Bowie when he's in his underwear.
The
The
one in
one
the
where,
80s,
right, the one that came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
2021, yeah.
and which I think back then I said the movie was okay. I mean, a lot of people had opinions about it, but they said, hey, because it's a part one out of a part two, so let's wait till the part two comes out so we can fully give our uh, understanding and opinion about this movie. And movie two came out, and I was like, well, that was a movie. I mean,
How
sure,
can you say that?
because I listen, it's one of those movies where you know you're watching something special, like Interstellar, for example.
Yes.
Mm.
And you don't have to be uh, a, a pretentious nerd like, ooh, only if you're smart enough, then you can get it. I mean, you see what's happening, you see what's going on, you realize you're watching right now something great. But a lot of things happened, and at the same time, a lot of things didn't happen. They chose to, I mean, I personally had my issues with the movie. I didn't think it was a masterpiece. I didn't think it was terrible. It was great. It's worth your money to watch in the theater. Let me tell you that. And that says a lot coming from someone who doesn't like to spend his money on movies now these days.
Cheap.
No, like, come on, you're gonna watch a movie, and then it's like, oh, look, that person is gay now, and that person for some reason is black, and that person is a girl. And it's like, oh, I mean, okay, you're gonna show me a movie, you're gonna lecture me. Like, what's gonna happen this time?
Yeah.
So I choose not to watch. Like for example, I saw the movie Damsel,
Yeah.
right?
You
With
Yes.
the
watched that?
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it.
You watched that garbage? You could see it was garbage for the trailer.
I mean, I don't watch trailers, first of all. I don't watch
Ah,
trailers.
there's your
But
problem.
but the movie opened up like this. You have stories where the damsel needs a strong, heroic prince to save her life. This is not that kind of movie. And it's like,
We hate men. All
it's
right,
like,
cool. All right, one of these
okay.
again.
It's like, okay, you really chose to start the movie like this. All right.
Just
So,
confirmed, I am not the target audience. Fuck.
so like, I'm not gonna waste my money on stuff that's bullshit. And this movie is not bullshit. This is very far from bullshit.
Talking
This
about
is
Dune, not damsel, Seth, just to clarify the context for our listeners out there.
right. I'm talking about Dune. It is not bullshit. You feel like these guys said, "Hey, let's make a fucking amazing movie." And everyone was like,
Mhm.
"Huzzah!" And they actually did
Yeah.
it.
So it is an
Nowadays,
amazing movie.
people are like, "Hey, let's make the worst movie ever." And people are like, "Really?" Hey, I'm paying you. You have to agree with me. Okay. Do the huzzah thing. I don't really want to. Do it. Huzzah. But over here, you
Super
feel like
awesome.
you feel like they were all into it. They're all like, we're going to do the most amazing thing ever. And everyone was like, yeah, it was awesome.
Nice.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
don't forget, I wanted to make a little introduction, a little in vendetta, not a vendetta, just a little interlude, just of Don't forget that we're recording on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh
So
yeah.
grab an ale while you're listening to this in old spirit of remembrance when St. Patty drove the snake. Oh, sorry. St. Patty drove the snakes out. I had to switch the accent because I was in Scotland over there, but now I'm in Ireland. Drove the snakes away straight out of Ireland.
Grab your
So,
ale.
ah,
Nice.
Yes, from the time of our recording, yes, it is St. Patty's Day. I hope you all were in green, because if not, bad luck for the rest of your life.
I don't think that's how that works, but
You won't get your pot of
another.
gold, but you will
Don't they
get
just
pot.
beat the crap out of you?
Probably. Okay, so a little bit about the book. Okay, so Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2, both of them together tell us the story of the very first book out of the 6 books by Frank Herbert. The first book came out in 1965, and from 1965 and until this day, up as of right now, it is considered the best sci-fi book ever written in history. So I totally agree with it. I haven't read a lot of sci-fi books, but like I said, I did read all the six
You
books.
never read any of the Star Wars, like other. I forget
I'm
there's a
I'm
specific name for it, but
I'm not a nerd like you.
oh, okay.
So yeah, it's knowing all the entire story of what is supposed to be and supposed to come. I have to say this movie was very true to the books. Yes, they did make some changes, some major changes that I'm not happy with, but in general, they all very true to the story, which I love. So yeah.
Word.
Um, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. It's been like what, 2 weeks more or less, 2 3 weeks.
Mm, yeah.
So I hate to say it, but you guys will have to guide me through this, and I'll answer your questions.
Okay.
All
Dune
right.
Dune Chapter 2 takes us directly. Okay, it's a weird that it's a little bit ambiguous. We first, like, when we end Dune Part 1, we have Paul leaving with his mother, and they're going into the desert, and we see a guy riding on a sandworm. And then we hop forward, and it seems that they've been slightly assimilated into the tribe, but it's like there are some hints that it's been not too long, but it's also like it could be almost directly right after like the moment we left. And it's
Mhm.
almost a little bit ambiguous of like how much time has passed until a little bit later where it's like, oh, we've skipped a bunch of time now. And it's like,
They
okay,
did that a
what?
lot.
Yeah.
Like
So
for you
Yeah.
not to know how much time has passed.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was weird. It's like, hey, in the first movie, you, Miss Jessica woman, yes, let's kill you. And it's like, what? No, don't kill me. And then like immediately later at the second movie, hey, Jessica woman, yes, you'll be our most high respected priest now. It's like, what the fuck?
The Reverend Mother.
Like, you went from wanting to juice her to turn her into your the big kahuna. What's going on over here? So that was weird for me.
To juicer,
It was
that's
the
funny.
signs.
Yes. So we know in this movie takes place roughly 9 months, because in the beginning of the first movie, not in the beginning of the first movie, but towards the end of the first movie, Jessica's pregnant, which means in the beginning of this movie she's still pregnant, and by the end of this movie she's like 9 months pregnant.
Very pregnant,
So
which by the end of this movie, she should not have been pregnant.
by the according to the books, yes. So that alone tells us that this movie, Dune Part 2, takes roughly 9 months. In the books,
Outrage.
it actually took place like maybe 5 years, maybe even 10 years. I don't remember, because We do meet the baby, Jessica's baby. Her name is Aaliyah. And here's a spoiler in the books. Paul and Cheney actually have a baby together, and I think he dies at the age of 8. So yeah. Now his name is Leto. His name is Leto, and then he
Press
dies.
F in chat. Very nice.
And he dies during the war against the Emperor. During that battle, that's when he dies. So I totally understand and respect not adding him to the movie because he's honestly really irrelevant to the movie. So I'm totally okay with them not having him in the movie.
I'm
But
fine with killing children if it doesn't help the story.
It's not about killing children, it's just making sure their existence doesn't really matter.
yeah,
The only thing that is important in that I find particularly what takes absence in the film is that Channy and Paul get married.
they don't get
Uh,
married. Okay,
They're
so
not they're not married. They don't have a ceremony like thing.
not
They
not
just I don't
okay,
remember.
so Paul doesn't
What
marry
did
Cheney. He actually Cheney becomes his concubine. Concubine is Jessica was a Duke Leto's concubine. Basically,
right?
which means you do belong to me. I can have sex with you. I can bear kids with you, but I'm not legally married to you.
I
Therefore,
know, but the
he's
the
still
like
free to
he
marry.
he didn't have any like ceremony in within the Freeman Society with her.
Not that I remember. I rember that
There was nothing that bound them.
no, from what I remember, she
Probably
was
juicing someone.
from what I remember, it's been a while since I read the first book, but from what I remember, she is his concubine, and she just bears his kids. The thing is, she was so assured of Paul and that he is the Messiah, and totally okay with it. It
Right.
didn't bother her to be his concubine.
She was
Now,
a hardcore believer.
exactly, hardcore believer in the books. And so hardcore, she actually even knew and understood that he needed to marry Princess Irulan. And she like
Yep.
understood that and it didn't bother her. She was totally okay with it because she
She was
knew
also firmly like secure in their bond.
exactly.
That's the thing that I was trying to allude to. So let's say they did or did not get married. Uh, the point was like nearing the end, like she gets all pissy and scared about her relationship with Paul because he's like speaks out and says, "I'm gonna marry the Empress, will soon to be Empress, the princess of the universe, the
Mhm.
galaxy."
Princess
And
Irulan.
yeah, and she just huffs off in a huff and pieces out. And we're supposed to care, but there's like 5 minutes left of the movie, and it's like, yeah, but nah.
So yeah,
You can
so
go cry over there. I kind of like this new princess who I have no knowledge about whatsoever. She's kind of cool because she doesn't pout 24/7.
She wears chainmail on her head.
Yeah.
yeah. And
You know that meme where you see I forgot his name, but it's from a
still
movie where he
God.
says, "Life is good, but life can be better." You know that meme?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see life is good, and you see Cheney, but life can be better, and then you see Princess Erla.
And then you have the insert, but it can be better, and you just insert just a picture of chainmail. And then,
Funny.
like, if you want to make it extra, put the other meme of like getting ready for the Holy War kind of thing with like the Crusade memes that are really strong. I don't know if you've ever
Oh
seen
my
those.
God.
Those are,
I did like all the people uh,
like
fighting
Chad
about
Knights.
Israel and Palestine. Who does it belong to, the Jews or the Palestinians? And then you someone say it belongs to Rome.
Back to the or the yeah. Oh man, the Crusade memes go strong. I'm a
Yeah.
fan. Or treat her like a princess. Sell her to France to strengthen the alliance,
Yeah.
or marry her off to France. Uh, anyways,
And then behead her. Um,
Shock
So
face. Winnie the Pooh shock face. Or Pikachu shock face.
my issue with the change that they made for Cheney is in the books. Not only that, yes, she has a kid with Paul in the first book, but actually in the second book they have twins, which the son,
Afterwards.
yeah, that's in the second book, and the son is called Leto the second, and the daughter is called Ganima, which is a weird name, but the meaning of the name I think is absolutely amazing, which is the spoils of war. So that's the meaning of her
Dope.
name. Yeah.
I like it.
They called their kid Leto the second.
Yeah, yeah, Leto the
He
second.
named him after his
Jeez.
father, man.
Yeah, after his dad.
What?
Yeah,
Didn't he name him after his dead brother?
His
his dead
dad.
brother is named after his dad.
Okay, but the kid didn't survive, so,
Technically, it'd
Yeah,
be Leto the first, or
which which which
they.
is
Wow.
which is why I also understand why they didn't add him in the movies, because
Hmm.
that is confusing.
It's just
But yeah,
easier to skip that, and that's fair enough. But
yeah,
I agree that having Cheney's like agency robbed of her being a strong character, like robs the like okay, like we could have had a decent character with like full on like look on a naturalistic kind of point of view of like without this foreknowledge it would have seemed natural, but knowing who Shaney is from the source material, she's a much stronger character, and I think it would have benefited, especially with the world crying out like we need strong women. It's like, well, you have a great one in Cheney,
yeah.
and
No,
so
I
now she just needs to be mad at the patriarchy.
yeah,
I mean, it did feel like that.
yeah, that I don't know why they did that change. That did very much bother me because again, she is very important in the second book. In the second book, she and Paul like very very important. They ended this movie by we are no longer together. We're not gonna have kids together, obviously, because we're not together. So my question is, how are you gonna get to the ending of the second book? Because the director Denis Villeneuve, he did say he is going to do the third movie, which is based on the second book.
Dune
Okay,
Messiah.
Dune Messiah. So my question is, how are you going to get to that ending when Paul and Cheney have twins together? The twins are very, very important. They are the most important characters of this entire storyline, even more important than Paul himself.
No problem. They'll just be like, "Hey, Cheney, stop being a bitch," and she'll be like, "Okay."
Hopefully,
They're
I'm
I
done.
sorry. Okay.
I mean, unless, all right, if they go full on Hollywood and Paul dies, the actual Messiah is Cheney. She finds some guy to be her concubine. She has random sex with all these guys, has twins, and there you go. Now the twins are there.
yeah, but they won't
Yeah.
have that Reverend Mother knowledge, so it
Hmm.
doesn't work.
Which is the importance of the sister and all that.
The Benny Gesserit. Yeah,
There's so interesting the
yeah,
just the some of the directions that they chose, and I don't think that they're bad. Like I find Dennis a really good director. I like his other work, and he's very exploratory, and like his use of cinematography is exquisite, and like even the effects in this like didn't I could suspend my disbelief. I didn't think I was looking at three-dimensional like CG things. I was looking at like a very believable world, like ornithopters and different atmospheres, and like you know like what it would be to be like on different planets, and so on and so forth, and like the structures of different societies. Like I thought that was all pretty rad.
yeah.
Um,
The CGI was
yeah,
like really believable. Like in a way, like it felt as if they did what Christopher Nolan does by going to like not doing CGI. Like, did you guys go
yeah,
to outer space and filmed all this? Are these creatures real? Like,
yeah.
it's amazing. The CGI of it like is 100% believable. Like you can't see the green screen or any flaws with anything over here.
Yeah, but it was good. I thought like the pacing in the movie was pretty fantastic. Like I didn't feel
Fantastic.
look
Yeah.
for someone who's had expectancy of what was to come, you know, tracking along with the story felt like it was near the end where things got rushed. Which I was a little bit like, okay. Like as soon as I saw that um that Paul's mother had not given birth and like they were starting to push into areas where that would have already happened, the pacing started getting a little more choppy, like a little more like faster and faster, moving past elements where it was like it feels like they're trying to wrap things up, and the movie did eventually end, and it was like, okay, that was an issue, but like the rest of the movie, which was the meat of it, I think more so was pretty deep, pretty decently done.
I
Yeah.
feel like they focus too much on things that didn't really care about. Like, sure, we see him get the trust of the freemen, and he's now a commander, and he's leading all these guerrilla attacks against the what are they called? The Arcanines? What do they call the bald people?
Harkonnen,
The
The
Harkonnens.
Harkonnens,
And
Harkonnens, Harkonnens.
whatever you want to say.
you kind of feel like it's okay, but then you remember, dude, this is a 3 hour movie, and only in the half hour of the not the half hour, the half of the movie, an hour and a half pass, and only then we're introduced to the main bad guy. And at a certain point, you're like, a story needs to have its contrast. We need to see something build up against Paul, and it wasn't really building up against him. It was more they're throwing nothing at him. What is his name? Batista is failing at his job. The the fat floating guy is
The
just screaming,
Baron.
get the job done. The job's not getting done. And then finally, we see the main bad guy who was the guy who played Elvis, right? He
And
did it in a
also in Masters of Air.
Yeah.
massive. Yeah, he's just so good at what he's doing. This kid came out of nowhere. I have no idea
He's
where
a
this actor
Disney
came from.
star.
He's a Disney star.
He's a Disney star, yeah.
What
I,
was
I
like
Ev-
one of the what Nickelodeon, like Disney, what Disney Channel,
yeah, Disney Channel, Disney
Jake
Channel.
and Paul, like who is he?
Austin Butler. I actually
Yeah,
know
we know
his.
his name.
I no, but I mean, I know his story how he got to Hollywood. He was with his mother in the fair, like the state fair or whatever, and some agency just saw him. It's like, hey kid, do you want to do acting? It's like, yeah, sure. It's like, okay, come, I'll be your agent. And that's how he didn't audition or anything. An agent just saw him and, pedophile all over him and like, yeah, we want you.
Jeez,
Nice.
But no, yeah, Austin Butler,
classic
so
Hollywood.
He
classic
was in
Austin.
Zoe 101
Yeah.
and Shannara Chronicles. What? Okay.
So Nickelodeon, not Disney. But so
Same difference.
I I saw the movie Elvis, and it's an amazing movie. I don't know if you guys saw it.
So
But from what I've understood, Austin Butler has been working for 2 years to sound like Elvis in a way that you can actually go to YouTube and hear his voice before Elvis and after Elvis, and he sounds like Elvis. And like Moses, you just said, he was also in the TV show Masters of the Air. So
Amazing show.
amazing show. His Elvis voice is still there. And for me personally, I was like, if he doesn't change his voice for this movie, it'll be a horrible casting. It doesn't matter how amazing his acting would be, because he needs to get rid of that Elvis voice. Like I don't want to see him acting this psychopath person and hear Elvis. I want to hear the psychopath person. I want to feel like you embodied that character. And it's amazing that he did achieve that for me, that he was able to change that voice. And he said he's tried to sound more like the Baron, the big fat guy who was floating. And he
mhm.
does. He sound a bit more like him. And it's absolutely amazing how he was able to change that voice, which for me was an amazing bonus. The fact that he did that and I did not hear Elvis. And
Yeah,
he
did an
embodied
amazing job.
he embodied that psychopathic character in my point of
It was
view.
perfect.
Yeah.
It actually was interesting. In the books, they really buttered up like the evilness of who he was, so that you just really detested this guy.
Hmm.
Here, I didn't. There was like a bit of ick, but like he's so hot looking that you're just kind of like, yeah, but like he's feeding his weird cannibalistic like bitches in his room. But he's whatever. He's handsome.
He's
I
whatever.
He's
but
very sexy being bald and albino. Uh,
yeah, it's surprisingly very effective. However, I, I feel like that is one thing that they should have leaned into, just showing how like gross he was, and I think they should have leaned a little more or made a little more clear that like they did state pretty specifically that like uh he's another of the Bene Gesserit's chosen and or like potential, but I think what they should have really brought out between the two films, which they didn't really. In the first film, they kind of showed that okay, Paul is trained by his mother in the Bene Gesserit way, but they didn't really show that he was also trying to be groomed to be a Mentat, and that
mhm.
he had that, and to show like a little more world building into how important those things were, and so to show like that a little bit more lean into the Bene Gesserit side of like why behind the structure of this, like to help the plot in its like linkage of like why these people are in the background, why they're doing like they just look like weird, scary nun people. Like, oh, we have plans, and you don't really get a sense of that. They tell you, but they don't really like make it important.
Yeah.
And those who know the books understand, but looking at it from like a plain kind of view, it's a little bit difficult to sense that okay, the this new what's Roth Ra Roth
Fade Rava.
Fade Fade Rava, like that he is almost comparable to Paul in a way, and but the like psychotic,
Hmm.
um, and so we get like some offhand comments from the Bene Gesserit that are there, but we don't feel the both his the degradedness of who he is, but also the scariness of the potential. We see that he's a competent warrior, but not much more than that, and that he's weird looking but handsome.
Yeah. You said over here two things that I love that you said it, and I really wanted to touch upon. And thanks for you kind of drift me into that.
Hey, perfect segue brought to you
Yeah.
by Moses Moon.
So yeah, so Fade Rather in the books, he doesn't leave anything for chance. He you know how in movies you have the bad guy, he explained his plan and blah blah blah, and then the good guy just kills him. Like, just don't explain your plan, just kill the person. Like, why are you stalling? Fade Rather is that he doesn't stall. He just go ahead and does what he needs to do. He doesn't leave anything to chance so much that he actually poisons his blades. Like, just in
Yeah.
case
Oh
if I
yeah,
was,
that's another thing they didn't bring up that I was
yeah.
really shocked with, especially at the end, where
Hmm.
the like if and which actually had me even more like when I understood that the blade wasn't poisoned, but and he stabs Paul, I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, so I wanted to save that's a battle for the end, but yeah, I'll just comment quickly on that
Spoilers!
battle.
It's the name of our show.
Save
I'll
nothing to the end.
I'll just quickly comment about the blade at the end. He wasn't using his own blade; he was using the Emperor's blade. That's why
Upset him.
that's why it wasn't poisoned. But yeah, no, in general, Fade Rather he poisons his blade just in case, like, if you are better than me, at least I cut you, you will die. So he
I
like
thought that
really,
was a point. Maybe that was in the last movie, in the last like the other how would you say other crazy 80s film of
yeah,
adaptation. I think that was implied because they didn't have much to show him, so they just showed him at the end. By the way,
yeah,
played by
and
none
he
other than Sting.
yeah, and he had like a knife coming out of his suit. That's in the movies in the 80s.
That's
But
right. Good times.
Sweet.
you know, So that's about his fighting skills. Now, you did also mention he's equal to Paul, or he is also a part of the prophecy.
He's comparable, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll explain more about the prophecy. So the Bene Gesserit been having this plan for many, many thousands of years to bring the Messiah who will guide humanity to the perfect future. Um,
Wait, are you telling me the spoilers of the Benny Gesserit now?
yeah, the Bene Gesserit. You know,
I don't
Oh,
but
want to
just
hear
wait till
this.
we get to the worms.
no, but this is a plan for many, many years.
I
Okay.
don't want to hear this.
Well, too bad. Spoilers, obviously. Um,
Don't take off your
don't take off
headphones.
your headphones, you
You
little.
know, you know exactly
What a
that this
crybaby.
was all playing in behind the scenes. This isn't a spoiler.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler. It's all
It's
this
not
is
a
behind.
spoiler.
What a baby.
Put your
Anyway,
headphones back on. It's not a spoiler. This was what was going
Okay.
on behind the scenes.
Okay.
There we go.
and
Continue.
anyways, so for many, many years, the Bene Gesserit has been planning on bringing the Messiah who will guide the human race to a better future. And the Messiah is a male, it's not a female. Now, in this future, the Bene Gesserit, when they get pregnant, they can actually alter the baby inside and make it a male or a female. They can choose. Now, in the first movie, Dune Part 1, when we meet the Reverend Mother, the old woman, and she talks to Jessica, she says like, you were told to bear a female. And she's like, yeah, but he wanted a male. Like, I'm sorry. Like you fucked our plans like so much. This is not okay, but let's do the test on him to see if he actually fucks up our plan. And that was him putting his hand in the box, seeing that he doesn't fuck up the plan, but in a way he still does. Now the plan was Lady Jessica will bear a female child. That female child will marry Fade Rather. Fade Rather and that girl will have a male baby, and that male baby will be the Messiah, the Isa
Or
al-Gaib.
should be.
Yeah,
Well, that's in Isala gave is the Fremen form, but like it's the Kisar Sadarak.
he's like Harak, the
Kisarara.
Kwizak,
Yeah.
Kwizak Harak.
Quizak Sadarak.
Yeah,
Quizak Sadarak.
so
You guys are just
that
making noises now.
All
Quiz.
words are noises.
Quiz quit happy. Quiz
Quizak
crowd.
Sadarak.
So that was the original plan that Duke Leto and Lady Jessica, they have a daughter. That daughter marries Fade Rather. Fade Rather and that daughter have a male son. That male son is the Messiah. Now, Lady Jessica fucked the entire plan by having a son.
Yeah, but she
Now,
she kickstarted the whole thing. Prophecy. That's why the woman, Reverend Mother, was so angry.
exactly. Now, Fade Rather Paul are basically equal to one another. He's insanely skilled in fighting. They're both insanely skilled in fighting. And the prophecy has to do with both of them now. Like who's gonna be the one who lead us? The Reverend
It's
Mother
like is not Cedric Diggory. What's his name? Harry Potter
and
and
Never Longbottom.
Neville. They're both the same, one and the same, but
Ex-
one chose the destiny.
exactly. I'm actually reading the Harry Potter books, and I just passed that chapter. But yeah.
Yeah.
So the Reverend Mother, we also see in this movie when Paul tells her like he uses a voice and he screams at her, silence, and she's immediately like abomination. It's like she hates him. She hates Paul because he wasn't supposed to be born. He fucked up the entire plan of the Messiah,
She
and
shouldn't have said that though. She should have been like freaked out. And
she was freaked out, and she said abomination at the same time. Like you can see her face how she was scared. But it was
I think she should have been more scared because it's like in this world. So in this world, the Bene Gesserit operate in this like psychic field that
Hmm.
has been like within an external dimension that only women can go into, basically. No man has ever appeared there. That's in their ways, ever. It was planned that that would be so because that's why they can kind of peer into the future or like have not entirely peer in the future as part of spice or whatever, but like
Hmm.
that's why they manipulate in the shadows, but they're prophecies so that they can raise a man to do that.
Yeah.
And any man who's ever been a part of that has basically been executed. Or am I confusing Wheel of Time?
I
However, not the,
Yeah, executed
um,
by, the box, or, or if they drank the holy water, they just died because it's
they
poison
just
from
die.
male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the chosen one.
Yeah.
But the mentate has been a male order of like being able to process mathematically, be like a computing genius, psycho genius in the mind, be able to calculate into the future and all these things. And so basically, the mixture of the two would be able to peer in the past and into the future and go into a veiled area of the psychic world that the women don't even go to. And be able to like beyond that, and he silences her in the book so beautifully. He's like, silence, like using the voice, I have been where you can't see, and she's like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah. No, they definitely sugarcoat it a bit, a few things when well, obviously they sugarcoat. Frank Herbert did a lot of drugs to write this books, and he wrote a lot of sex into his books. Like by around this time of the book, um, what's her name? Paul's sister, Leah. Leah is born,
Yep.
and I know it's weird, but I think there's like sex with everyone, basically.
There's an orgy,
Yeah,
but like a lot of books back then had orgies, so I don't
yeah, it's
know.
the 60s, so yeah. But no, his last two books, books 5 and 6, are basically just orgies, all every chapter. So,
Yikes.
and
Nice.
yeah,
Well,
um,
at least it's not the orgy like in the book
Stephen
It.
King. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about
I saw, I mean, like, do you really need to have this chap part in the book? Like, what do you mean without this?
Yes.
The characters can't move on. Like, but you can get rid of it. No, I cannot get rid of it, but you are the author. It's
it.
like, you can literally get rid of it. It's essential to the story. It's like, is it? Is it essential to the story?
Is it though?
Like it wasn't even written in a time where it would be like it was ambiguous and like maybe culturally mild. Like this wasn't an ancient text. This is just pure garbage.
Yeah.
We don't
Um,
condone pedophilia on this channel. It's a
no,
good Christian, wholesome family.
I wouldn't say Christian, but
That's the
um,
joke.
yeah, I did see the movie The Sound of Freedom. That's that's a
What'd you
tough one.
think?
It's a tough movie.
You know what's so funny is here's my little tirade on the whole freaking whole issue. Not a controversial film, and anybody on the left who's like, I support like broken peoples, and yet totally tears this film apart are just absolute assholes and hypocrites in the fact that they can't support something that should be part of their purview of, hey, these are human rights that we need to champion and we need to protect the children, and the fact that they can't do that and all they can do is defecate over it, like seriously, that's it's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. It's a very tough movie.
And it's a
Even to
true
watch
story about a man saving children.
from
You
from
can't
who
be
were
more
kidnapped.
noble
Yeah,
and great than that.
yeah.
From sex trades, trafficking, like you can't be like better than that. And the fact that people can be like, oh, I'm gonna be like
I'm gonna
uh
I'm gonna defend the kidnappers. They
morally
were in the
superior,
right.
like this movie is evil. It's like I don't know what the parrots these days, what they is going on in
Uh,
their minds, but goddamn.
Anyways, let's get off that
Anyways,
subject right
coming
now.
back. Ah!
The music. Oh my God. Hans Zimmer is a fucking legend.
Agreed.
He did announce that he's going to do a North America concert,
Mm-hmm.
and he is going to be in the town where I live. Uh,
Oh,
around, I'm not going to say when because then you can look at the dates and like, oh, I know where you live. So, but
and kill you.
exactly. So he is going to be in the town where I live, and I am so excited. I'm like 100% going to buy tickets to his concert. You know, he did Dune 1, Dune 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, um,
Star Wars,
Star
Indiana
Wars,
Jones.
Indiana Jones, if I'm not mistaken, also Harry Potter.
He did
Um,
Harry Potter as well.
like,
Yeah. Any movie
w-
you can think of that was epic and legendary, such as like Gladiator.
yeah,
He was a part of it.
Gladiator,
Yeah.
like th
Interstellar.
this Interstellar.
Yeah, he's a Nolan classic. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he also did Oppenheimer, but and I'm insanely excited to go to that concert of his. He did
Do it.
announce he did announce that he's already working on the music for Dune Part 3. So
Amazing. Can
that's epic.
he are you going to that show?
Uh,
100%?
I haven't bought tickets yet. The
You
tickets are not,
need to make you should make that happen because like he's
yeah.
not going to be around forever.
Yeah, no, I think the tickets are gonna be in the next few days gonna open. So
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna 100% buy tickets. Like
That's
he's
amazing.
going to be like literally 40 like 20 minutes from where I live.
I do have one complaint with the music.
Okay,
And
go ahead.
two splits. One, I had it ruined by a TikTok where a girl said if you listen carefully, it sounds like Cartman from South Park, and I can't shake that. It fucking got ruined.
I'll need you to send it to me because I now want to hear it.
Nah, nah, you don't want that to be
I'll
ruined for
Google
you.
it.
Oh Lord,
How
you're a
about that?
P-roll.
Google
Anyways,
it.
and
I was using the
y-
voice right now.
do it. Oh fuck, I must comply. Um, However, the only thing is music's supposed to have kind of, and I'm not criticizing the master. I just didn't notice it, and if there was something to be noticed, I missed it. And so sometimes music and Zimmer is amazing on in doing this, is developing the theme for the hero and the journey and like the metaphysics of like the representation when things come into play, and then he merges those marries them beautifully, and like there's a realization, and there's usually a diversity of his of themes and musics to go through. And I felt that the music in this was mildly monotone in terms of like I didn't feel any great departures of like I don't other than that one track, there isn't like one like Star Wars, there's the Imperial March, there's the like the
Dun
theme
dun
at the
dun 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 dun
yeah,
dun.
there's the actual Star Wars theme of like the
Mhm.
opening. Like within one movie, you have multiple themes that are very memorable. In this movie, there weren't many like depictions of like, oh, that's Paul's theme, or that's that theme, or
Mm.
that's this theme. I believe the theme that we know is Arrakis's theme, but it's also kind of blended in with Destiny and Hero and all these things, and it comes out quite often at like very poignant moments, which is fine. Um, However, it just there wasn't something that like struck out to me like near. So when we got into the second film, when hearing the same music being used, it didn't feel like there was a development or like
And the
it
story,
didn't
music wise.
music wise exactly. And
Yeah.
so like so it's the same thing when he drinks the water. It's like okay, great, awesome. I was expecting maybe like
Ha
just
ha ha. That
but
kind of thing.
it did pull me out a little bit in terms of like I was like because I noticed it. It wasn't like, oh, now we're using this music again. And again, not a complaint. Hans Zimmer did a fantastic job. I just thought there could have been a little more diversity, or at least no, I didn't notice the development of themes within the music. Where like even Howard Shore from Lord of the Rings, we see like from the beginning, the Fellowship of the Ring, all the way to Lord of the Rings, that even though they're different little themes and like musics for a specific thing from the Rohirrim, Gondor, and so on. Like when these scenes marry, that the music themselves have little interludes that marry the whole thing, and the story develops even within the music. And like the hobbits, by the end when they return, the Shire theme is like so different but at the same similar. Like, do you feel or see what I'm saying at that?
Yeah, I totally understand what
Mhm.
you're saying. It reminds me like of Harry Potter. There's the main Harry Potter music,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then there's I forget the name of it, but it's like Lily's song or whatever.
Yeah.
And it sounds very familiar to the Hogwarts music, but the notes are a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And that basically like I remember seeing a video on YouTube how that small change is very significant in the music, even though it's like it sounds the same, but the notes are different. It connects to that character and story.
Right.
So I do understand what you're saying. Personally, it didn't really bother me, or I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's totally fine.
because I do feel like hopefully I really hope they're gonna do all six books. I have no idea if they're going to, but I feel like
Prepare to
the
see worms and people being one weird thing.
I feel like the main theme over here, we're gonna throughout the movies gonna hear it change. Like it's gonna be similar, but it's gonna change, and we're gonna feel and hear that change within time.
Hmm.
Because even though yes, this music over here was the same to the first movie, let's remember, yes, this is the second movie, but still the first book. So
Yeah.
having it the same as the first movie, like I personally feel as we are still in the same book, so it's the same
Hmm.
journey.
I'm
Because
totally fine again, part one, part two.
yeah,
However, even within a giant movie, I
yeah,
feel like there should be more development. But again, I'm not complaining, I'm not
yeah, no,
criticizing
totally understand, totally
Zimmer.
understand
I
that.
like even again, like I can't recall a single theme dedicated to one person. Like I don't have a memorable like thing where I'm like, this is this person's theme and this is his, like when I'm hearing this is like reminding me where we're at or something. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
got nothing.
yeah. No, I totally get that, and I respect that very, very much. Adam,
Namaste.
you've been quiet for a while, and I'm tired of seeing your face not talking. So what do you have to say?
About the
Shut up.
music,
Anyways, yeah, you were saying?
I want I want to say I liked how you see Paul eventually take the drug and then transform. Basically, reminded me of Game of Thrones, where they kept on saying to the men on the watch, "Kill the boy and let the man grow in its place."
Yeah,
And it was a theme that kept on happening, where you need to kill the boy inside you, and then claim what is yours and be a man and do the hard decisions that not a lot of people can do, even though those hard decisions were eventually to manipulate and lie to a whole nation, which was kind of hard to watch. This is why they made Cheney mad at him, where basically she knew that it's all just a lie and you're just playing into his game. He's not really the Messiah. And now he's saying, okay, I am the Messiah, and I'm going to bring you into glory, a better world. And and it's interesting because he's going to take all these millions of people across the galaxy and to fight. And it kind of reminds me, like in biblical terms, when the Israelites came from Egypt to Israel, and Moses said, "I'm going to bring you to paradise, to a land that's flowing with honey, milk and honey, and it's just for you." And when you think about it, there are people who are already living there. You have the Philistines, the um,
Canaanites.
Canaanites, Amorians, you have all these nations who already live there, and they're like, "Oh, hey guys, what's up? We kind of live here." And they're like, "No, we're going to kill you." It's like, what the fuck? And
One thing
that's
they didn't really bring up is like the language in this is actually extremely Islamic.
yeah,
Like the
and
I mean, they may have brought it like you can kind of see it, but like the main word is holy jihad. Like that, like the in this world, the Arabs won, and like in this culture, and like they're here, like, and that's the language and the rhetoric they use. I think they didn't lean into that for obvious reasons, unfortunately, but it's very interesting that you feel the ancient biblical kind of correlation.
Hmm.
well,
Yeah,
the ancient biblical, right?
yeah.
Not Judaism that is today,
I
but
don't
it's
know. I mean, it's holy jihad, genocide. I don't know. I'm joking.
No, well, no, the books like they do mention jihad and all of that. It's very,
Absolutely.
very Arabic, the books, and
Which was interesting for the time that it was written.
exactly in the 60s. The thing is, I don't know if I would say the Arabs won in this book. It's you need to
Well, I
look at
mean, they
it.
made it to the future. It's our world, just way in the future.
Yeah, yeah, it's like 10, 20,000 years in the future. Now, and the most important planet, which is Arrakis, yes, the Arabs are the ones who inhabited that planet
I don't
with it.
see any space Jews there.
Okay, so here's an insane spoiler. Do Arrakis, not Arrakis, House something.
Harkonnen.
Anyways, no, book six. Anyways, I'll go with book six because I don't,
Ah,
the
okay.
names of the books are very weird to me. Book six, we meet Jews.
Hey,
Yeah,
we need Jews.
we meet Jews. Yeah, Jews are still alive. And but that was like supposed to
Oh
be
man.
so resilient.
that was supposed to be a huge like what we are still alive. Like yeah, we were as in hiding for in this planet on book six. That's the only time when we meet the Jews, and we are like in the entire book. Amazing plot over there. But the thing is, I wouldn't say the Arabs won. It's the Earth, our Earth, basically is dead. And they
Yeah,
don't. I don't know if they say Earth is still there or whatever, but they say no one lives on Earth anymore.
yeah.
And so we, went across space. So the Arabs just went to that planet and they inhabit that planet. Atheist or whatever, he went over there. Italians, Americans, Mexican, everyone went to their own planets.
I
And
love the atheist race.
they all kind of a race. I don't know. Because this book is very much about, gods, religion and all that. But
It's
the,
it's a
the
critique, or at least my favorite interpretation is at least from the first one. It's a critique and a warning of messianic figures.
yeah. So
It comes with a toll.
exactly. So I don't know if I would say the Arabs won in
I didn't
this
say that they
world
won, but like in my like because I didn't read the rest of
interpretation.
the books, I didn't it's hard to we don't really meet the other cultures so much, at
Yeah.
least in the first book. And me basing like what this is in like the world, the most important planet in the galaxy, uh is basically, and again, this isn't like out of spite or out of like a racist point of view. I'm just saying like that this is a clearly Arab emulated culture where these are the remnants of these people from ages long ago, which is would be our world.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're still predominant, and like there are millions and millions and millions of them, like within a science like a perspective, is like, especially someone coming to read the book or watching the movie for the first time, or like trying to understand how the world in the galaxy of, or the world building of Dune works, is would perceive like, okay, like this is where they went. And because we don't have any taste of the other cultures and their massive amounts or like other massive amounts, this is the
Mhm.
main and prominent. It's very like, okay, this is very Arab, which again is a very unique for the time. Again, like the 60s were very interesting. The fact that Frank chose specifically to choose that culture to bring to life in his book is very fascinating.
Yeah. If I remember right, he Frank Herbert was um he would write articles. He worked for like, he would go on travels and write articles about stuff. And I think they told him, "Can you go to this some desert and write an article or whatever?" And like, yeah, sure, no problem. He did not write that article. He wrote this book instead. And and that's where
Spoilers.
the whole Arab theme came from, because he went to some desert, I believe, like
Hmm.
a lot of Arabs and all that, and that's why he added all this Arab. I love this book. I have to say it is an amazing book. I loved reading it, and the entire storyline and what is to come. He did an absolutely amazing job, and it is fun to read and know the big picture.
Just
Later
note if
on,
you're going to pick it up, our viewers or listeners, that it's very long-winded and philosophical quandaries. They cut a lot of characters and
yeah,
or the types of characters, like the doctor from the not the doctor, but the person who was in the who got eaten by the sandworm. She got hit and she's like, "I only serve one master," and starts banging on the ground before they
yeah,
killed the Sardaukar there.
yeah.
Was basically like there was a subplot of like Arrakis was being designed like from there's a geopolitical issue of like, hey, we're gonna turn this planet back into or turned into a green, luscious resource place as well.
They did
And
touch upon it in this
yeah, but it was
movie.
like you just kind of miss it. In the next movie, they talk about like the prophecies of what they want it to be, but they don't understand like behind the scenes that there is a scientific aspect of people trying to make this a reality.
Yeah. So, okay, so Jessica, she drinks the holy water, the water of life, and that
Yeah,
awakens her senses and everything. And
makes her a reverend mother.
exactly, she becomes a reverend mother, which means she can see into the memories of past reverend mothers, and she has
Hmm.
all that knowledge. The thing is, she's pregnant, which means the the baby is also in the womb a reverend mother, and like she has those abilities as well, and
Yeah,
she can talk with Jessica and Jessica talks with her. But the thing is, we do see like a flash forward where we see Aliyah,
yeah,
that's her
on
name.
the beach. Yeah,
Okay, so that's the thing is, she is in Arrakis. She's not just on a random beach. She
yeah.
is in Arrakis, and we see a huge ocean in this desert planet, which tells us, Lady Jessica did see the future, and she saw her daughter in a massive ocean in Arrakis. Or was it no? Paul saw the future after he drank the
Paul was
water.
seeing it.
Yeah, and she's like, "I love you, Paul." That was weird for me. Like, "I love you, Paul." Like she said it in such a way, like, "I want to fuck you," but it's like
Yeah,
that's
there wasn't a
that's
familial tune to it. It was also like people who didn't understand that he was seeing his sister. It was like
yeah.
people might get confused that he was seeing like the princess, but then like at the same time, like why?
Mm.
Why?
Yeah, no, that was a bit weird for me, but I love the fact that they did show us that Paul now sees the future, and he
Yeah.
sees his younger sister in Arrakis in the middle of the ocean, which tells us they are going to succeed to turn it into a green planet. The thing is, in the books, we find
It's
out
not in
how
their lifetime.
no, it is. It is in their lifetime. If I remember right, in the third
I think
book.
it's way back. Like
No,
I think it's because
I think
they just decide not to do it, and then if I recall, like it happens much later, but it has further consequences for what Arrakis was.
could be. I don't 100% sure remember. I think it does happen at the third book. But it's not in the third book, so 100% in the fourth book. But either way, I love that they showed it to us and telling us that it will become a green planet. In the books, we it does become a green planet, and we find out how horrible of an idea it is and how bad is it for the ecosystem. But it's still amazing.
You can't make spice on a green planet because you
Exactly.
have a flower god in the middle making these fucking little worm babies, and they eat whatever, and they in turn become the spice after they
Mhm.
die. And fuck, I don't know.
Uh,
It's crazy. And they're
what
like
else?
gods, but not.
What the chill dogs?
I don't know. Whatever his son becomes half worm,
He,
half whatever.
yeah, so in the third book, his son will become a half worm, half man. Spoilers, but yeah, what's his
Spoilers.
name? Denis Villeneuve. He said he's only going to do the second book and he's done. I really hope
Yeah.
they're going to continue and do more books. I have
Hmm.
like the rest of the books. Um,
Where did Adam go?
no, I think we kind of bored him because it's only us talking, and he's like, kind of, I have nothing to say here, right?
Yeah. Isn't
He's
that
so
right,
gay.
Adam?
We hate him so much, right?
Yes, I agree with everything you just said.
There you go. Nice.
What else happens in the movie that I don't remember? I I love
They
it.
get
Yeah,
nukes,
they get nukes. Yeah,
which was
That's
pretty
interesting.
sick. That was when the tide has turned.
yeah.
I have a lot of nukes, like a lot
It's
of
like
them.
you want to think like, how do you control and conquer a country? Nukes.
I
I
love
mean,
it. Yeah, you were saying?
no, I mean it's just you look at all these guys and you think to yourself, everyone wants to think they're this good person, right? There's that famous question, oh, if you found $1 bajillion, what would you do? It's like, oh, I'd give it to the authorities and I will never keep that for myself because that's not the right thing to do. But then when you really find it, suddenly you realize like, nah, I'm gonna keep it all for myself. So it's like it's a question like, what do you do when you finally get real power? And Paul's like, I don't want this power, I don't want it. But the second he's like, hey, dude, you have nukes. Suddenly it's like, oh, I kind of want it.
Yeah, which is not his character in the books, and I'm not even sure in the movies that's really when he like what the turning point was. Like, there's no clear moment for me in the movie where it's like, okay, you're gonna pursue the jihad, and here's why. Like,
I think drinking the water, like once he drank the water, it's like okay, because throughout the movie he's been in this huge conflict with himself. I can see the end game. I see what needs to be done. The thing is, a lot of people are going to die in for the honor of my name. I'm against it. I don't want that. And once like he's trying to get to the exact same end game with different paths. But the thing is, no matter what, the people are still going to die, no matter what you do. Like
yeah,
if you want to help and the what's the name, the desert people, forgot their name for a second,
Fremen.
the Fremen, and you want to revenge your father, people are going to die, and a lot of people are going to die. If you are willing to let all of that go, that means you are okay with the Reverend Mothers, with the Benny Gesserit, with the plan, and basically kill yourself because you are an abomination. So obviously he doesn't want to die. Obviously he wants to have revenge over his father, and he wants to help the Furman. So basically, no matter what, you already chose a path where people are going to die. So
Mm.
he has no
Well,
escape from it.
no, but that's life. You always um choose a path. Like I remember um our dad used to tell us, oh, the future, all the doors are open towards you and you can choose whatever you want. But then I realized throughout life, the second you start choosing, lots of doors start closing really fast,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you can't really open them anymore. I mean, I remember when I was about to get drafted in the army, they gave me all these options. Oh,
Options.
you can do this in the army, you can do that in the army, and I immediately closed all those doors. I closed them all because I
I
knew what I
want
wanted
San
to do.
Khanim.
Yeah, I want to be the most badass guy in
Gay.
the world. I want to cry in Jerusalem. So immediately
Cry Jerusalem.
I closed all those doors. And that's basically what's happening over here. You need to realize that you need to choose a path, and the path you choose will eventually change your future, change everything about you. But I didn't really have that feeling that what was happening to him. I had a feeling that he was being a little bit of a simp towards Cheney. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
I have this future that I need to do, and I need to become someone. And even when his old master appeared in the movie, he's like, why are you such afraid of this power? Why are you afraid of it? And he's, oh, I'm afraid of losing the power, so I can't go down south. And I'm thinking to myself, um, maybe you just want to have some pussy. That's what you want.
Do you know
Just
that YouTube channel of like how it should have ended?
yeah,
Yes.
The animated? Did you see the animated version for Dune?
no, not yet.
Uh,
So funny
I forget. I did see it, but I forget.
because you said simp, and so they're like the first is like the Emperor has decreed that you will take Arrakis. Do you accept? And Leto's like, yeah, nah, we're good here. Are you refusing the Emperor? No, I'm respectfully declining. We're good here. and then the jump cuts to Paul going, I saw a girl. That's normal for men your age, Paul. It's okay. No, and she was walking in the sand. Okay, we're kind of in a thing here. Go get her using the voice. and then the mother's like, very good, Paul. so
So yeah,
classic. But
that's
that's
it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Paul Atreides.
People picked up on the simp energy. I don't in the books, it wasn't like that. It's interesting that they chose the few themes in the movies about like a coming of age, especially like when losing your father and picking up the mantle and choosing responsibility. I think that's very interesting. I think though it was a little more it's because they again that's where he kind of feels like a bit of a Luke Skywalker Anakin like or he's kind of just complaining as opposed to like the complicated character that Paul actually is.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're both the chosen ones, Anakin and Paul. But in this case, Anakin is just a whiny bitch because of the dialogue, and that's fine. And he is in this movie because they want him to be. Whereas in the books, the struggle and the philosophies that were being expressed were very elegant and very. It's hard to work through because they really trudge through like this is a moral dilemma. It's not just about like no matter what thing you're gonna do, like you're gonna die or you're gonna live, and you're gonna live. There are gonna be people like the millions and thousands of with this jihad going across the galaxy, and you're gonna be a big deal. And it's not just about him experiencing the pressure of like lives and blood on his hands, but just also being that guy, having to be the Messiah figure, and whether his choice to like how do you choose or how do you choose to live your life while being the chosen one and like having that realization of like I have full potential to do this. Whether and also his anger towards the Bene Gesserit because they made him that way, and it almost isn't his choice, and his like how do I just be myself? And like, and if correct me if I'm wrong, third Messiah is basic, or the third one, the Dune Messiah is he just at some point sees it's going on. He's like, I'm out, and he just pieces off into the desert.
Yeah. So in Dune Messiah, it takes place 12 years after the first books. So basically, we're not like whenever the third movie is going to come out, we're not supposed to see the Holy War. Like we're gonna hear about it, but we're not supposed to see it.
It's a little
And
sad.
yeah, it's but you know, it's gonna be what basically an epic battle for 12 years. Who wants to see that? An
I
epic
do.
s- an epic space battle where Paul Atreides kills 61 trillion people throughout the galaxy in honor
I
for his
mean,
name.
I don't know if he kills them, but
He kills
he
them, kills them. He kills them, kills them.
no, I mean they probably die from the actions, like collateral damage, right?
Yeah, but still, he knows for a fact, you know, in this holy war of mine, I've killed 61 trillion people. So in the second book, Paul Atreides, he himself, he says, back in the day in Earth, there was this big tyrant, Hitler. He killed 6 million people, and he was considered the most evil person in the entire history of mankind. And he killed only 6 million. I killed 61 trillion, and yet people praise me for what I did. Like okay, so the first book, a lot of people love the first book and they saw Paul Atreides as the hero. And Frank
Yeah,
Herbert
they really missed it. Yeah.
and Frank Herbert felt like you guys missed the meaning over here. Paul is not the hero. And that's why he wrote the second book, which basically shows us like this guy's going to kill a lot of people. It's like an insane genocide he's going to do. He's not the hero. But then comes the question like here, Hitler killed so many people. No one is praising him. Oh, except for the people who's, hating the
When he
Jews.
was winning, um, they were
People
kind of praising him.
exactly, but and here Paul is, obviously winning. People are praising him and all that. And he himself says, this is wrong. People are not supposed to praise me. I've killed so many people throughout the entire galaxy, and people are bowing to me. People are praying to me as if I'm their god. It's like, this is not okay. But this was the only path to save humanity in the long run. This interesting thing is, as of right now, we still don't know what is that big plan of Paul Atreides. What is that end game? You know, why is all of this happening? Like, why the Bene Gesserit trying to create a Messiah to guide the human race to a better future? What is that better future? As of right now, we don't know what is that better future. Why is everything happening the way it's happening? We will eventually, in about 5,000 years from now, but from the books, because the
Jeez.
books from book one till book six, it's about 5 to 10,000 years. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but it's like several thousands of years, and it's gonna take a long time until we get to that end game, to the so it's very interesting how they do that. Um, yeah, Paul in the like I said in the second book, he Moses, you said he dies off, like he just walks
In
in.
the third book, he just pieces out into the desert, if I remember.
No,
Like,
so yeah,
I don't know.
no, so in the second book, yeah, here, spoilers, guys. In the second book, he loses his eyes. And he then basically, because the Furman, like, dude, you're blind, and blind people are basically useless. And what do we do with blind people? Just like in
Squeeze
the
him.
well, they no.
Milk him.
They do the same thing they do with people who live in the polar, in the what is it? The North Pole, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're about to die. Just walk off until a grizzly, or whatever snow bear eats you. Um, so same thing. You're blind, just walk into the sand until a giant worm eats you. So that's what Paul does by the second book, and that's why Denis Villeneuve wants to do until that book, to do three movies, two books, and he claims that's the end of Paul Atreides. Here's a big spoiler. He's actually still alive on the third book. Sorry, Moses.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah, but
I didn't know better.
he dies in the third book, officially. Um,
There you go. He did.
yeah, but no, he's blind, but he like Neo in Matrix, right? But he can still see
Yeah.
through
See the world
using
through the spice in his mind powers.
exactly. He uses a vision, like he sees into the future. His vision is so powerful, he can literally see a millisecond into the future, basically saying, I can see you without having eyes. I can see you in my head.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a big ass boy.
Yeah. Um the I was surprised how many times I laughed in the movie. I did not expect to laugh because in the first movie I didn't laugh at all. But with what's his name? Still God. And Lady Jessica, when she was vomiting because morning sickness and all that, it's like don't waste it, don't waste it, and she vomits, or she's crying and he comes and basically licks her tear off. It's like we don't waste water over here. It's like, dude, that's a tear. How like you okay? You licked her tear off. Did you get hydrated by any chance from that? Did you? No,
It's a cultural thing.
that's just salty water that you put on your tongue for flavor.
Hey man, it's Jessica's salty water.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But that's the
Yeah.
thing though. Like there's a thought. This was interesting, and I was sad that they took this out of the movie,
Mhm.
which is part of the ceremony of when the guy who we faced in the first movie to like claim his place in the Fremen world.
Yeah.
Where like it all hinged on him winning this or not. Is afterwards they process him and they have a ceremony, and then everyone says something about him, like he was this to me, da da da, and then Paul speaks up. And in the book it wasn't necessarily justified. It felt a little weird. And I saw someone, a critic, point this out, and I thought it was very astute that this actually could have been a really grand moment, and very narratively justified for him to cry, because a lot of the line when he says this person was this to me, there is no connection like what was shown in the movie. And so like when they say, oh look, he spills water for the dead and it's significant for them,
Yeah.
they didn't do that here. And the thing is, in the movie they explained or showed very well is that he could see the different timelines and he could see what this man showed him. And even in this movie we have a moment where he kind of meditates and goes out into that place and sees his mentor, showing him or giving him advice and needing the higher ground. Uh, it's always the high ground. Um, but the point is like that was a that with those, had they had the scene of him honoring him that way, it would have been significant and much more like ingraining into the culture. I thought that would have been, if they had added that, because I was expecting that in this movie. If they had added that, I would have I probably would have appreciated it a little bit more and found it more endearing, especially to his adaptation to the culture, than some of the things that just kind of glanced over.
Yeah. No, it was really nice in the books that they had that. Like in the books, because Paul is an outsider and he killed one of the people, he now needed to take care of his family for the first year. He was responsible for them. Like for his wife, like if he wanted to marry his wife, like you're welcome. If you don't want to, she can be your slave for 1 year, and after that, do whatever the fuck you want. You want to release her, go release her, but for the first year, you have to take care of his family. Like, and they didn't do that, but there were a few things in the book. Like, it would have been nice if they would have added more and to the movies, but at the same time, I understand why they didn't. I do feel this movie, even though it's like what almost 3 hours long, I feel it should have been 4 hours, like Lord of the Rings, the director's cut. Like I would love to find out if there's a director's cut for Part 1 and Part 2 and add more stuff to this movie. Because there's a lot of stuff over here that in the books amazing happens that doesn't happen in the movie. For example, um, what's her name? Leah, Aaliyah, Paul's sister. She is the one who actually killed the Baron in the books by the age of
True.
2. It wasn't Paul, which
Heart
was,
plugs.
which was insane, for a 2-year-old to kill
Why
her
do you guys
grandfather.
think they didn't bring her in the
Too
movie?
complicated. It
Too
would
complicated to bring a new character?
she's a weird character and needs time to like develop
Adapt to her.
and and she would have deserved like another half an hour dedicated to the movie of like showing her interaction with the Fremen and why she's so weird and how it's shocking and how she's very wise because she is a Reverend Mother and how even the Fremen think she's an abomination or don't understand her.
Yeah,
Um, and then at the same time, like, um, they kind of like casted that shadow onto Jessica still as she's walking through the halls of Fremen world and she's whispering to herself, aka and her baby. Um, I understand why they did it, but uh I don't know. It's also weird because like also like are you gonna get a child actress for this and then in the next movies never see this one again? And like not that that's a big deal, but it's also like there's a lot of logistics to it that I just think would be too complicated for the grand scale of like this is about Paul choosing to do the jihad. That was what the second part was more or less about, and some minor counterparts of there's things going on that allow this to come to fruition.
yeah. It will be very interesting how they do the rest of the movies because again, the second book takes place 12 years later. So having Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Aaliyah in the second movie, it's like you're not 12 years old, so obviously you'll need to do it much later. How she's like in her late 20s, early 30s. She's roughly my age. So she's also Timothy Chalamet's age. So basically, it's all you have her play in the second movie and have someone replace Timothy Chalamet because Timothy Chalamet would also have to age by 20 years and he doesn't look like in his 40s. Or you bring a 12-year-old and you can kind of have Timothy Chalamet play one more movie. So it's like who what do you do? Do you bring on Anna Taylor-Joy, replace Timothy Chalamet, or you keep Timothy Chalamet and bring a 12-year-old, which for us would be like, wait, but wasn't it Anna Taylor-Joy? But then in the third book, whenever they'll do that, if they'll do that, I hope they do, then it'll have to be Anna Taylor-Joy and not Timothy Chalamet. Like I do see eventually, because by the third book, Paul Atreides is like in his 50s. Timothy Chalamet is too young unless if they do wait that many years. So I do see them. They will have to change the character to play this to play. They will change the
Probably.
actor to play the character.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We shall see one way or another.
I wish I had the spice to see the future.
And that's the one thing is let the spice flow. They should have referenced that because that's just a dope line.
Yeah. I don't think we saw any fish people in this book, but we in this movie.
Ish people?
Yes, yes, those fish people. Space fish people.
Space cosmic fishman.
Yes. The books are very fucking weird. We will meet
There and cat isn't there a cat race?
there's a there's a dog chair. A chair that is a dog.
Yeah, and lizard
Yeah.
type people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's shapeshifters. There's a lot of weird stuff, but amazing plot lines. My favorite books is the first 4 books. 5 and 6 are very weird and sexual, but book 6, that's where we meet also Jews, so I have to like that book because it's awesome. Um, yeah. There was the Harkonnen planet, the everything black and white. I absolutely love that. And
I thought it was dope.
the fact that their sun is a black sun and that's why we see everything in black and white.
Did you know
And
they filmed that in violet color
yes,
something?
Adam, they felt trying to steal my thing.
I don't
What?
know what they filmed it in.
So they filmed in infrared, Adam,
That's cool.
violet. They filmed it in
In,
violet. Yeah. So the scene where we were in the Harkonnen planet, they filmed it in infrared. What does that mean
Really?
exactly? I have no idea, but that's why it was like in black and white. I absolutely love the visuals over there. How everything is in black and white, and the fireworks is like this, as if drops, ink drop in water. It
yeah, it's
looks,
pretty cool.
it was really cool. I really loved it. But because of the black sun, they're not used to a regular white sun. So whenever they were in Arrakis, you see them just vomiting because the rays is so strong that it's too much for them. So they had to be wearing suits.
It
The
was so well done. I like
Yeah,
the idea. I said it much earlier, but like being on a different planet, and then because you have a different atmosphere, how light interacts, and therefore the worlds are different. Like, it's like, yeah,
yeah.
yes, science.
Science, bitch.
Yeah.
The battle with Fade Ratha and Paul Atreides.
Amazing.
Amazing, amazing
Really good battle.
hand to hand combat. I absolutely loved it. I also love the fact that there was no music and it was literally you hear them hitting each other. That's the only sound you hear. Them breathing hard or like hitting each other, doing those flips.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I think they actually went really like looking at it. I think they went really hard, the two actors. I think they really went at their choreography
Hmm.
very intensely because like I'm looking for this particular types of angles and it just felt like they're like the angles that show like where there's some measure of like if you know what you're looking for, like different camera angles will mean that like things aren't actually landing, but I'm pretty sure there was like a lot of like these guys got bruises from practicing, similar to Ewan McGregor and uh, Kristen uh, Hayden Christensen, Obi-Wan and Anakin,
Hmm.
doing their duels. So yeah, I felt like it's probably definitely one of the top fight scenes for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What
Say,
say you, Adam?
did you guys were talking about the Oscars? Did Dune win any Oscars?
Dune came out in 2024, unless you're talking about Dune Part 1.
The last, yeah, Dune 1 won some stuff for visuals and something else, but like,
Yes. So I don't know what Dune Part 1 won.
let's
I
look.
I don't know what Dune won for 2021, but Dune Part 2 it came out in 2024, so the Oscars for that will only be in 2025. So,
All
Oh,
right. Awards. Wow, it won a shit ton. Let's go with just Academy Awards. Awards. The Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, Best Music, Best Cinematography, Best Production Value, Design, Press, Original Score, more music. Best Film Editing, AFI Movie of the Year, or AFI, yeah, BAFTA Awards, or Best Original Score, Visual Effects, a lot of the same, just kind of repeating. But it won a ton of awards.
and that's Dune 2021, right?
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, for Dune Part 2, we still don't know because it hasn't happened yet.
No,
All
I'm
those
really
awards.
sad about the Oscars that didn't. I'm pretty sure it didn't get on there. Was the Voyage of the Demeter?
Hmm.
That was it was good.
I don't know if
oh,
I
It's
saw that
not,
movie.
it's not a great movie at all, but it's a lot of fun. It's about the ship. It's about the ship that transferred Dracula to from his homeland to America for Bram Stoker's Dracula. However, King Theoden plays the captain, and it's wonderful. It's awful, but it's great.
It should have won
And
worst movie of the year, and it didn't.
maybe it wasn't the worst. There's plenty of movies that are just utter shite, but this one was like, it's a good watch. I did watch from our last time that we spoke. I did watch The Haunting in Venice.
Nice.
It quickly rose. It's on par with me with A Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
It's fucking dope.
And it's did you have the same experience I have? Like, okay, I know who's the killer. Like, wait a second, is it that person?
So I watched it twice. The first time I
Okay,
watched it, I had no idea. I kept on trying to make speculations, and I was like, nope, I got nothing. Like
really?
second time around, I noticed some of the dialogue and how they tried to conceal.
Hmm.
And I was watching, but this time when I watched it the second time around, I had friends with me, and one of them called it from the beginning. But I don't
I
know if that was just clear blind shite luck, and he's just sticking to it, or because at the end when I questioned him, he's like, "It was just a feeling," and I was like, "Don't give me that. Don't
so,
give me that."
so I saw the movie Hunting in Venice in theaters, and I called it from the beginning. But throughout the movie, it's like, wait, I could be wrong. They made me, doubt myself. But at the end, it's like, okay, I was right from the very beginning, and I should have stayed with my guns. Like I saw the things that made the person like, yes, you are the killer.
All
But
right.
the fact that they were able to make me doubt myself was awesome.
Mm.
Anything else about Dune Boat 2?
I got
Questions,
nothing more to say.
things we didn't talk
I
about?
said my piece. I love the film. I'll watch it again. I can't wait for it to come out so I can watch it
Again and
right
again.
after Dune Part 1. Like so I
Yeah.
can see it as a entity, and I want to see if they made it as, for me, like it felt like it jumped right in, and I felt like it similar to how the ending of Rogue One flows right into A New Hope.
Hmm.
I was feeling like this has the potential of like, okay, this could be a one full one part one and two, really flowy. Like just you wouldn't notice the transition if you just cut out the intros that weren't quote unquote necessary.
Yes.
So,
Okay. I did see Dune Part 1 like a day before watching Dune Part 2.
mm,
So to make it all flow, and I loved it. And I have to say it is the way to do it. It
you're
does.
the way to do it,
Okay then.
if you
I
know what
do
I mean.
uh remind me. Show me. I do know that the budget for Dune Part 2 was 190 million, and within the first weekend, it made 178 million. So basically, they covered their ass. They already did over 200 million. So they made their profit and some. Um,
Nice.
I think that's it. I don't remember anything else I wanted to mention. So yeah. Uh, So I do believe we got to the end of our episode for today. I'm your host, Joel, and with us, Moses Moon,
I'm still here.
and our surprise guest, my older brother, Adam.
It's me, Adam. Surprise.
Well,
You can go to the bio of each episode on Spotify, ask us questions, and we will respond in the next episode if you guys want to. You can also go to our Hebrew podcast where we have way more episodes over there, and we also talk over there, whatever you guys want.
that's if you speak Hebrew.
That is if you do speak Hebrew. And if you don't speak Hebrew, just play in the background, give us more views.
Yeah, maybe subtitles will be added at some point.
Yeah, and hopefully very soon this podcast will be on YouTube as well. Just the audio, no video, because I'm horrible with that. So if you prefer YouTube podcast, you can listen over there hopefully very soon. Until then, I do believe we got to the end of our episode. So we are spoilers, obviously, and we'll catch you guys up on the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.